won't you? A few years ago, a good friend of mine had sat down with me during ladies' wine night, which is our favorite thing to do, but not the only thing that we do, don't get that wrong. So she shared with me some really beautiful stories about her travels to Europe, but there was one in particular that changed my life. Say aye if y'all want to hear what it was, please. All right, cool, thank you. Thank you so much. So imagine, here's Katie in Italy, never been there before, kind of learning on the fly to speak their language, enjoying it, but stressed out at a bus stop. And up walks this stranger, a little bit disheveled, if you will, and he walks up to her and he starts asking her some questions. And I'll never forget, she said, it looked like this man had his life packed on his back. So he asked her a couple questions. First, what's your name? Where have you been? Where are you going? What do you love? And how do you like to be loved? As you can imagine, she was a little taken aback, and her response to the man was, I want to answer you, but I've never been asked those kinds of questions before. And it was his response to her that changed my life. He said, that's because people are too wrapped up in themselves. They're too concerned about keeping a safe distance that they miss out on opportunities to make human connections. Your job doesn't define you. Doesn't have to, unless it's absolutely what gives you joy, what gives you ultimate joy. Maybe it is what defines you, but does it give you joy? Right? And he said, we're often too afraid to ask those questions, or we don't think to ask them. It made me think. I stopped and I thought maybe he's right. Am I asking those questions? Does my job define me, and is it really giving me ultimate joy? Now, keep in mind, this was several years ago, not present day. And I realized, no, my current job then at the time was not bringing me fulfillment and ultimate joy. Was I asking these questions to people I met? No, I was too afraid to do that. So I was missing out on connections. So right then and there, I wanted to know if he was right, number one, and I wanted to do something different because I wanted to feel ultimate joy in my everyday. So I made a commitment and I did something different. I'm going to ask you guys a quick question before I go on, and I really mean this. I want to know right now if you guys can take a minute to think about what it is that you love. And I want to know after this talk, if you feel comfortable with me, please let me know what it is. I want to know. But I also realize it's a little unfair of me to ask you what you love if I'm not going to share, so I'm going to share that with you. And I also realize I probably should introduce myself a little bit. So can I have just a few seconds to do that? All right, thank you. Very cool. So to all my good friends, which you are, you can call me Shelly. My given name is Rachelle Tripolli. And I'm going to ask you, please don't try to define me, because what I'm about to share with you does not shed any light on where I am now or where I'm going. I like to color outside of the lines, as you probably noticed. So I was born in a little farming community here in California, just not in San Luis. I located here about 18 years ago, so I consider myself a local. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I consider myself one. And I love it here. San Luis is incredible. The people are so friendly. You guys are warm and opening and giving, and open is right. Yes, happiest place. Absolutely. And I love it. Absolutely. Talking about the things that I love, so many things. You know, as I started thinking about this, I realized that not much has changed since I was a kid and I thought about all the things I love to do. Maybe the list has grown a little bit longer since then, but, oh man, the things I love. I love to sing, I love to dance, I love to act, I love to direct, I love to read, and I love to write. Oh, I love to teach, and I love to learn. And I don't know if I would say I love this most of all, but it's definitely in my top 3. I have to say it like this. It's witnessing or facilitating You know that moment in a person's life when they are just, like, they're here, right? And they're just like, the world sucks. Life is just weighing me down, and I don't want to get out of bed. No! I don't care. I can't do it. And they're here, and all of a sudden they go, yes! Right? They have what Oprah calls that aha moment, right? Yes! And they're like, yeah, purpose! I'm ready to go. Let's do this thing called life because I'm in love with you again. Yeah, that thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. That moment. I think that's what the guy was talking about. That's what gives me ultimate joy. I love that. Absolutely. But how do I turn that thing, all of that, how do I turn that into what I do every day that's going to make me money? That's the thing. Nobody knows. Amen. Until now. So I decided I'm going to do one thing different. I'm going to start doing the one thing that I love one at a time, and I did. And it was beautiful. And as I started to do that thing, I realized it's great out here doing this thing, but it's not about me. It's really about we, because what gives me ultimate joy is being able to do these things with somebody I love, or that I'm just getting to know, to share that thing. So I'm in this transition in my life, and I'm like, yes, okay, I'm figuring stuff out. I'm going to start doing something new. I have no idea what it is, but it's great. I'm doing it. And tragedy strikes. Like any good story, of course, there has to be some sort of drama, right? Yeah. So at that time, it was a good friend of mine and a coworker, and he committed suicide. And that rocked my world. I don't know if you've ever experienced that in your life, but it changed me again. We shared so many things, so many dreams, so many aspirations, so many frustrations, but we shared it together, and I never saw it coming, ever. So I don't know if y'all believe in God, or if you believe in the universe, or you don't believe that there is a God. Either way, please bear with me, because I do believe that there is, and I believe in and I practice in the law of attraction. And so when I found out what happened, I rallied with a family, and after that I asked God, or the universe, whatever you believe, and I said, please, there has to be something that I can do, because I understand what it took for him to get there. Because I've been there, I just never told anybody. What can I do? What kind of gifts do I possess that I could bring to the world where I can inspire somebody to wake up the next day? What is that thing? If you would guide me, if you would direct me, if you would inspire me, I will do it. Just show me what it is. A little premature on the slide, but there was the answer. Now I'm going to tease you. There's a link to what I'm about to talk about, but you don't get to see it right now. So the answer was sharing stories, because they're powerful. So many years ago, I decided to start doing video blogs, and I like to call them sharing life lessons. This meant I had to get really vulnerable. That's really scary. That is really scary, to start opening up those doors and sharing with the world what's happening with you, challenges, fears, mistakes. Yeah, airing it all out there. But I wanted to turn it into something positive, like, yes, this is what's happening, you're not alone, but there's another way. Like, you can make this positive. You can turn it into something inspirational. So there's a link, it's on my Facebook, public. It is public. And wow, guys, I had no idea going into this, right? I knew it was scary, I didn't know how it was gonna be taken, but the people spoke, and they spoke loud, and they were clear, and they would message me, and they would comment, and some who knew me well enough would text me or ask me for my number, and they said, Rachelle, wow, I thought you were talking to me. You have no idea. How would you know? How would you know that I was going through that? You wouldn't have known that. That was me. And I needed to hear that thing that you said, that life lesson, because you know what? I'm going through that, and I had no idea what to do. I was at the end, and you changed my perspective. you gave me a new idea. And if I was lucky enough, I would get a follow-up message that would tell me, thank you so much, because I applied that thing that you told me, that you shared with me about, and it improved my relationship. Yes! Haha! Winning! Great! Thank you so much! My God, I never knew I could feel this much joy. And I'm not even getting paid yet. So, no, I loved it. I wasn't even thinking about that. So what do I do with this now? I got all this great stuff. These people are being inspired. Thank you. I just really cared about inspiring one person. And now what do I do with all of this? How do I package this and turn it into something else? I don't know, but I figured I'd be inspired. And then I was. So, Creating You was born. 2013, a good friend of mine, Daniel, who I respect and thank very much, he heard me, and he helped me, and he sat down with me months and months and months, grueling, poor guy, and he helped me come up with this idea, and eventually I came up with a name, and I called it Creating You. And it was beautiful, and I loved it, and it's my baby, and I carried it for a long time, and then I realized, if I want to inspire millions of people, I probably want to do this with somebody else. Not only that, but I want to share it. This experience so far had helped me to grow, and I felt so much joy and love that I didn't want to take that away from anybody else. I wanted to be able to share that with somebody. So a good friend and a mentor of mine, Tonya, please stand up for just a second. I need to recognize you. You guys got to hear from her today. Girl, I wouldn't be here without you, right? Yeah, I love you too. So absolutely, guys. So really, ultimately, it took me a while. I had a lot of advice about partnering up. Best move I ever made, but you got to do it smart. So I did that, and she helped me out quite a bit. So in March of 2015 is when I asked Miss Tonya to be my partner, and we're rocking it. So I wanted to share with you guys this idea. Imagine a world where you are free to live as your true self. This is happiness. This is creating you.